Travis, man, good tell. So yeah, it was the cord. I noticed as the cord was getting bumped that the color changed. So I changed the cord. It works. We're back in business with the wrong computer doing the wrong project. So we'll see if I have another cord for the other computer, and we'll see if I need to do any changes anyway. So that's a relief. But today I went on my trip, solved the bank problem. Apparently on the 27th, the guy used my card for $1 on the 27th of February. Not on the 27th. That would have been the Monday. That didn't make any sense. But yeah, so that's fixed. I can now get my watch. My watch died on me, if I didn't cover that in any previous video. So yeah, I got a new one, and it's solar powered. So yeah, I couldn't charge it in the other solar powered watch. So I guess when the battery goes, it's dead completely. Can't be revived with solar powering. I don't know. I just buy these things and use them. And I get ripped off. So there was a woman who looked very familiar, but it would have had to have been at least a decade or more when I knew her. And she's looking young and fine. So maybe she had a daughter. She was heading out to the airport on a Tuesday, mid-morning. And that's unusual. I mean, there's a group that were doing it. People do it, I guess, whenever their scheduled flight is, they have to get there at least an hour early, I'm guessing. But I then got home and was thinking about her. And I've been thinking about you. There it is. There's the theme song. And it's for this video. I've been thinking about you. Always in the description below. Only lesson manuals and other special events don't get theme songs or opening hymns. I used to do opening and closing hymns. I even had requests. I'm not sure why I stopped that. Probably got shut down right before conference, as I'm already experiencing being under attack by the YouTube employee who just thinks it's funny to disappear my videos. And so now YouTube has a Google help center, but they seem to be incompetent. So yeah, it's cute when we have a crush on somebody and we make any kind of an excuse to say anything to them. And she started it. I gave her the nod hi when she came in the train, as I pulled my heavy load of orange juice. Smith's frustrates me. It's great that they have extra and above cheap prices, not just for those who have a card. I'm kind of frustrated about the digital coupon thing. I don't do the phone. But then they have you have to buy 5 in order to get an even outrageously low price for each item individually, but you have to buy 5. And so it's great for a candy bar. It sucks big time when you have to walk your stuff home for orange juice, milk, the big heavy stuff, because you know that this is the cheapest it's going to get and you need it. It's not like commercials that try to trick you into buying their product when you don't need their product, or coupons. Save 10 cents, buy now. I don't need that. Why do I want to save 10 cents on something I can save a whole bunch of money with by not buying it? But yeah, she started off the conversation by pointing out the change that was left behind on the chair next to me. I already knew it was there. I put my bag on the other place so that when she came on, I had to move it on my lap. Because I had to move the change from the one seat to the other seat. I didn't want to be sitting on a dollar and a penny and I think a dime or a nickel. I don't do coins anymore. So I should have brought the change that I had when I was forced to get coins for the laundry when I first got in the shelter and was allowed access to my storage unit. But should have brought those to leave on the chair. But she asked, "Don't forget your change." And so yeah, I wished her a good trip. But she looks familiar, and I wonder if she was a part of Family Discovery Day. But I couldn't see her among the list of speakers, unless she's the DNA angel, Allison. That's the closest, but not quite. And so I don't know, maybe she came all the way out here to attend it. But again, I don't recognize the face at least a couple of decades, because I know what's happened in my life for the last couple of decades, and there's no way I could be meeting anybody under my incarcerated circumstances until prior to. So maybe she was in the older singles ward, but she is doing great if that's the case. She'd fool me for being 2 more decades older. So yeah, also there's homeless. They get off at the 8th and 11th stops for the most part. I guess that's the Rose Park area. I saw Rose Park Convenience Center, so I'm guessing Rose Park is there. And so there was one homeless person who was at the track stop who had a white blanket and completely covered himself to protect from the cold. And he had socks on, no shoes, and the nurse's pants, inpatient nurse's pants, blue. And so I don't know if he had just gotten discharged from a hospital or what the deal was, but it's sad. Literally sad, because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is supposed to be a charity. They have LDS charities. They have a whole bunch of different LLC corporations that are supposed to be for charities. And we have come to learn that the church doesn't give anything in charity. They instead give to corporations. And it's hoped that they trickle down the money to help the poor. And as I learned from the shelter, it's not the case. They don't trickle it down. They wouldn't buy us towels. We had to get a towel for Christmas. And I didn't find out until I got here and unpacked the backpack that I got for Christmas, because I had no need for it in the shelter. But it's sickening, because all they're doing, the shelter, is just collecting more and more homeless. No, they're not even making an effort to place people into homes. They're just rounding up the homeless. They're justifying it by saying it's cold. We need to protect them. Need to get them off the streets. But they're incarcerating them. Indefinitely incarcerating them in the shelter. And so, yeah, if there are no shoes, the homeless don't get shoes. If there are no pants, they don't get pants. And the majority of the people are so scrawny from lack of food and whatever sickness that causes the loss of weight, body mass, as I lost 105 pounds in the 9 months. Actually, it was 7 months. I didn't measure myself or weigh myself since when I first got here to find out the total mass that I lost. But they're always having to hold their pants up because they don't have belts. And with the Church of Jesus Christ donating $3.3 million to the shelters, and the government using your taxpayer dollars for $300 million to the shelter. And the homeless problem is just getting worse. This is beyond disturbing. This is criminal. And it's committed by our government and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because the church is making money off of this. They have Mormons who work for the shelter and on the board of directors, or the trustees rather, and they pay tithing back to the church. So the donated money that the church gave, and it's donated, it's not from the church's stockpile, it was extra donated stuff for that purpose. And the church gave a portion of it and then put the rest in an LLC corporation to earn interest, and then the remaining money was put into, that they didn't spend, was put into an offshore account. This is the pattern. Nelson exposed that, yeah, this is our pattern. We follow the parable of the talents. Every single source of income is that same pattern. And so the 3.3 million went to the paychecks, not to the homeless. And so the homeless are getting screwed as we're being rounded up, indefinitely incarcerated, and thus sick, inhumane conditions, not just from the diseases, viruses, and illnesses that permeate the building on a regular daily basis, 24/7, but the drugs that the shelter is purposely allowing to run free and rampant, with the occasional catching one, but they just get cited. That's it. They get cited, they come back to the shelter, they do it again until they get caught again. And that drug residue, got me sick too. People who don't do drugs get sick. And the shelter isn't there to protect us. It's not a safe environment as they claim they are. They discriminate when they claim they don't. They got the sign on the window, the lettering on the window out front. all the list of identities that they don't discriminate against. And I fit on a couple of them, at least. They just don't give a damn about us. And the cops are in on it, because I reported to the cops, even the chief of police, as I told you, and they instead want to get rid of me so that I can get out and no longer complain, so that the shelter can remain open for business, as it's supposed to be closed for decontamination. The Colorado Library, remember that in the news? God. The shelter is far worse than the library, because the homeless were living there and everybody was sick. I saw it in waves, and depending on the individual, on what their tolerance level is, because I noticed that those who do drugs or those who smoke or drink, they've got a greater tolerance to the drug residue poisoning than those of us who are virgins. But, my hell. So yeah, I'm glad I'm free, but there's still a criminal problem going on that the government and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are perpetuating and profiting off of. So, I just, when are people going to wake up to this reality? Because the church says, oh, we're giving to the homeless. We're helping the homeless. They're not. They just did the Ethiopia thing that I talked about with Ballard. It's worse in Ethiopia. After the church, and there are 11 million, which apparently didn't go to them because it rained, it's worse in Ethiopia. So clearly, donations are not getting to the people who need them. And so does this mean the church is still true? Still true, Travis? It never was true. When Joseph Smith died, so did his church. And Mormons refuse to acknowledge that, despite the blatant obviousness of the evil of Brigham Young's church.